feel like that when you are thinking about homeschooling and you're doing your research and you've got some questions and you need some solid answers to help you decide if you can homeschool, how you want to do it if you decide to, and how you're going to continue throughout that year, staying motivated, staying positive, and your kids and you enjoying the experience. Hi there, it's Lisa, the Catholic Marathon Mom. I want to introduce you to Sue and Elizabeth. They have authored this book, The Homeschool How-To, Simple Steps to Get You Started Today. I am reading it on Kindle. They are graciously offering a very lucky viewer of this video that if you put your question or comment below, you will be part of a random drawing and receive a physical copy of the book that they will mail out to you. How great is that? They have authored this book and we're going to talk to each other on Zoom today. Hi guys, today I have these two are joining me. I've got Elizabeth Hawbaker and Sue Marincel. They are our resident experts on the topic of homeschooling. Everybody is talking about what they've experienced through the spring and ending their kids' school year, and they're calling it homeschooling, and it was not what we call homeschooling. I'm just so tickled that we get to sit down, chat for a little bit about deciding to homeschool and then moving through as you get started and get going and how to sustain it. So, hi ladies.
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so Did you lovely ladies get your degree in homeschooling from college? Do you have all the answers already when you started?
I think we got our degree in homeschooling from homeschooling.
There you go. So now you guys wrote a book. Take me through that. Where did this book idea come from?
Okay, it's called Homeschool How-To. I actually have a copy. This is like a proof copy. It has like the not for resale.
Okay, and I've got the Kindle up here just to show you.
There you go.
I've been enjoying that already.
Well, Sue and I were talking on the phone one afternoon. We just kind of were talking about all the things going on with the pandemic and all the shutdown and, you know, our various places where we live and how things are different. And I had encountered a couple of people out in public right at the beginning of all the shutdown who had said something or other to me, kind of asking about how my kids were doing, because they thought that my kids were, you know, in public school and now we're at home. And so their life had been turned upside down and they were just generally making conversation. And I happened to say, well, they're fine because we homeschool and not a whole lot is different other than we miss our church and our friends and all of our activities. So that's why we're out here hiking and, you know, because we had to fill in a bunch of spare time. Educationally, nothing's changed. You know, we're still on our, you know, path. And then many people said something like, oh, we've thought about homeschooling. Now I guess we get to give it a try. You know, and things like that. And I kind of thought in the back of my mind, I wish I could do something to help these people, but what do you say in the checkout line at Aldi or, you know, on a hiking trail that can help? You know, I was like, should I think of a book I could give them the name of or a website or what? And then Sue mentioned that she said, hey, do you want to write a book? And I was like,
love it.
What?
I had encountered neighbors who were doing the public school, now schooling at home thing, and they were having a really hard time with it, not only because of technology issues with multiple kids, but it seemed like the curriculum was thrown together very hastily due to the circumstances, and they had a lot of busy work, and it kind of threw me back to, I was also a public school product. I thought, you know, these poor people, that they think this is what I'm doing all day is exactly what they're doing. I'm like, no, this is not it at all. We're having fun, you know. We're not crisis managing things. We're actually just, you know, going on with what we do, and everything's peachy keen, and all the kids are doing great. So, you know, I thought, well, maybe we could help them out a little bit with, you know, it's because I've had several people approach me and say, you know, I'm thinking about homeschooling because they weren't sure how it's going to go in the fall and, you know, how this is all going to go down for the next half a year or a year. And they're thinking, you know, maybe I just need to keep my kids home. That's what the book's for. Help them get started because they're at a loss. You know, I was at a loss too. And I think getting linked up with a small group of people that were starting a homeschool group was really instrumental in helping me get going, because there were people who already know how to do it.
Yeah, I think it's awesome, that idea that you have now something, you created something, and you can be like you said, here you go. Here's the book.
Right.
Start here. Honestly, I think that's incredibly generous of you too. I mean, to take all that time and effort and to collaborate like that. And I think this is definitely a service that you did, and out of your heart. You saw, oh my gosh, they're actually looking, they're wondering, and I could just hand you this book now, as you created it.
We all needed a quarantine project, right?
There you go. I planted some vegetables. You wrote a book.
Yeah. I don't think it's a get rich quick prospect. It's more of a help people out, that's
absolutely.
how
That's what I mean. It was a service that you have done. That's just awesome. I think it's just awesome. Sue, you just mentioned something really important about community. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, since this was a new thing here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there was a group that just advertised they wanted to start a homeschool group to connect their kids with other kids, teachers with other teachers, parents with other parents. So I started going to those actually before my kids even started school. And I got a lot of good tips from the people who were already doing it, curriculum tips, just stuff to do with the kids, what to expect, what the climate was for, government oversight and things like that. And it was very, very helpful to me. And really, it's been like an extended family for us. The kids, especially when they get to the teenage years, I found that if they had one thing to look forward to that they could really do with their friends, they would get their schoolwork done quickly and go off on a Friday to have fun with their friends or whatever. It was very helpful. It was really, like I said, an extended family for us.
Yeah, and we were a part of that group as well, and now a part of a different group here in Ohio. And the homeschool group has become like our family. It's just part of and a lot of them are at our parish. So our parish has become like a family and the hub of our social activity, and a lot of our, the ways we spend our free time have changed a little bit just because of what our community is doing. And it all stems around our faith and our really great friends, such really wonderful friendships for our kids, but really for us too, I think. It's for the moms and dads as well.
I think you're 100% on there. I feel like there's like this handful of questions you to go there in your book, socialization. And as you ladies know, you actually have to say no to more things as a homeschooler. I feel, we didn't start homeschooling until I was starting, our two oldest starting in 7th and 5th. So we had the full gamut of the sports schedules and the community stuff and school and all of those kind of things. And I felt like I was saying no more once we were homeschooling, because there were so many great options. But one other cool thing that's happened in our community, Elizabeth, since you have moved here, we're so glad you're here, is you started something for us moms.
Oh, yeah.
Talk a little bit about what you started there.
Yeah, I will, because it actually started there in Texas.
Okay.
And the reason I got it going here in Ohio was because I needed it. And I went back to Texas for a long visit, and I actually got to go to one of these, we call them the moms meetings. It's not super meeting-ish, it's a little more of a kind of mom's night out kind of feel, just getting together, very casual. And I got to go to one when I went back for a visit, and I thought, okay, I've got to do this back in Ohio, My husband was game. And so it's basically just getting together once a month to pray the rosary together for each other's intentions and for our group, and then to talk about something that pertains to homeschooling briefly, not a super formal meeting, just a kind of a conversation starter. And it might be something like really specific, like a math, like how do you do math? All the different cool things about math. Or it might be something more, home economics, like, budget friendly meals or something like that. And then just a lot of time to socialize and have a snack. And, nursing babies come, and some moms arrive late and some moms leave early, and, you just kind of make it what it is. come as you are kind of thing. But there's just this beautiful synergy that happens when moms get together. It never fails that something comes up that you just needed to hear, and it might be totally unrelated to the actual meeting topic. Maybe it was something somebody said in conversation, or an idea that they brought up, or something that they had done with their kids, and you're like, and I mean, sometimes it's even like discipline things, like, oh, we're struggling with that too. That's a great idea. I'm going to try that, or some sort of organizational thing, just something that you needed to hear that you take away and you go, wow, I'm so glad I came. I just think it's one of the ways that God has provided for me over the years, just in these conversations with these other moms, some who've been homeschooling a long time, or even some that are newer at homeschooling, and they just have this great energy, and the things that they say and their ideas, it's just what I needed. So that's why we got it going here.
Maybe someone gets sent there by so my friend had approached me at church. Actually, no, I think she called me or texted me. She was kind of at her wit's end with whatever was going on in their school. I said, well, I can't make it, but there's this thing happening tonight.
Yeah.
And I think she showed up, and
Yes.
you ladies just embraced her. She felt so supported, and I believe she finished that year homeschooling.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
She did. And I think she kept homeschooling. That's great. I kind of forgot about that. That was so wonderful. And I didn't know a lot of people, so everybody was new to me, right? So it was perfect.
But you know what? I think that's a beautiful, you just loved on her, basically, right? I mean, that's basically what you did. You didn't necessarily have to know like her teaching style or learning style or blah.
No.
You just were like, you can do this.
Yes, yeah.
Which brings me into the next section, the you can do this section of our conversation. On my YouTube channel, I have a playlist called You Can Do This, and all it is about homeschooling. And so when you wrote, you can do this, I was like, I love that. You can do this. Anyway, let's talk about that. Okay, so do you have all the answers already when you started?
I think we got our degree in homeschooling from homeschooling.
There you go.
I haven't gotten mine yet. I'm still working on it.
Me neither. I wish there was one.
Yeah.
Then how do you enter? First of all, they got to get this book, either read it on Kindle or get it physically so you can go through and highlight and check things off as you go through the steps.
Mm-hmm.
Totally recommend that. And as you're doing that, what should we be thinking about?
Well, I think one of the things I would tell people at the beginning is you can do this, but that sounds a little hollow at some point, like I can. How do I do this?
No.
Because, I think as moms, we often project way into the future, and we see all the problems and all the developmental stages and all the subjects, and they just pile on top of us, and we go, no, I can't do this. What I tell people a lot is that you don't have to have all the answers and the solutions right now. Like, you can't. There's no way, because our kids are moving targets and we are changing and growing. But as you homeschool and as you just take one baby step at a time, just doors open. And so what you know right now is only the tip of the iceberg of homeschooling. What you're going to learn in your research or your first year, it really is just a small little window. And just more and more, you're going to find different resources that are out there and different programs and so many different skills that you'll acquire and knowledge that you'll gain over the years, that eventually you will have what it takes to do whatever that big thing for you is that you think, I can't do that. It's I can't teach my kid to read, or I can't teach calculus, or we can't do this on one income, or I can't do this because, we have a baby every other year, or we have some health issues, or whatever your big thing is that you think this is a hurdle that we just can't handle. You never know. There may be something that comes up later on that you realize, oh, there was a solution out there. I just didn't know it yet. So just trust in God to provide what you need when you need it. Take the baby steps to get yourself informed, because you do need to do some research and you need to find out answers to questions that you have right now, but you can't project into the future too far and try to figure out the next 12 years of education for your kindergartner, there's just no way. Just take it one step at a time.
Yeah, and I think most people who try homeschooling just say, I'm just going to do it for a year. Just take that attitude that I can do this for a year. And then usually what happens is they fall in love with it and they just keep on going. I think also going to the meetings really helped me because I got to see the other ladies. And I thought, if all these ladies can do this, I can do it too. And it gave me a lot of confidence that, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be a classroom trained teacher. You don't have to have, advanced degrees. You can do this. And you can grow with your kid and you can learn with them, probably relearn, right? All those things we once upon a time. And it's just been such a blessing for all of us in our family and just to be around this community. It's been really great. And I would say also that the prayer together as a group, and this is kind of reverting back to the previous question, but getting together with the other moms and praying and having that common culture is so valuable for the kids and strengthening them in the faith. They've had really great friends, and it's just, it's really made them strong as they go off into the world.
Show us the book again. I really appreciate you two sitting down. Is there one more thing or anything else you want to add? Send us off with?
I was thinking about how when we wrote the book, it was just the first step is the hardest. So that's why we wrote the book. So if you're having trouble or somebody who's just standing there on the ledge, like, I can't take the first step. That's why we wrote this book. And there's so many other beautiful books out there that cover curriculum and homeschooling styles and the beautiful way of life of different methods of homeschooling. And there's no way we could recreate any of that in any way. But there seemed to be a lack of that very first step. If you've just been on the fence about it, or you've been going through all of the things with the pandemic and just wondering if this is for you, that's why we wrote this book in particular, to just kind of hold your hand and take you through just the first little baby steps to get some information and get you going, and then kind of point you in the right direction for other resources that might help you.
For me, just when I'm reading your book, I feel like that. I feel like you're holding my hand. Like, yeah, we've done this for a long time, but like you were saying, whether it's new baby or something different happens in the family, I mean, just if you have the same kids in the family, that you're just continuing homeschool, they're different because they're getting a little older. And now, and you mentioned, Sue, as they change on those real wonderful, preteen and teen years, that they are amazing, but they definitely are changing. Like, you need to refer to something that goes, you know what? It re-grounded me back into like, I do love this. I am so glad this is our life. I don't want to take it for granted. I feel so blessed that we get to do this, and I get to know them. I get to, those side-by-side conversations, whether you're driving or if you're homeschooling, you're near that child who is getting older or whatever. Oh my gosh, you wouldn't have had that if they were at school, like whatever thing that had just come up, and they get to bounce it off of us. I mean, there's just so much wrapped up into the whole parenting part of getting to homeschool. So I'm glad that I got to read that and like, yeah, this is, and I did say that, Sue. I said 1 year. Okay. 1 year. And that's what happened, is we totally fell in love with it.
It is a rich life.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having us.
Oh gosh, thank you so much. And I really appreciate you. And I just hope God blesses you both with this good thing that you've put out into the world. Homeschool How To, simple steps to get you started today. Love that. Thank you so much.